Hello, it's Phillip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers in London. And it's my pleasure today to review a book called Under the Wig, Lawyers' Stories of Murder, Guilt and Innocence by Bill Clegg, Queen's Counsel. Comes to us from Canterbury Press. I've written the main review. This book's available as a hardback, an ebook and an audio book. And I've given the title Clegg's Impressive Memoir on How the Right to a Fair Trial Has Been Put at Risk. And I don't say that in any big melodramatic way. I say it because that's the way it is. This is an important book and it should be read by everybody, whether you're an aspiring lawyer, someone who's just been called to the bar or in pupillage, or someone who, like me, has been doing this for a while and is interested to see, as I always like to see, the views of contemporary, very experienced counsel, far more experienced than I am, who have a particular view of things. We all have our own opinions, and I'm delighted that Bill Clegg has produced this work. Let's look at the book first of all. It's only a small book, and I'm reviewing the hardback, which I bought. I bought this myself because I thought this was a really good book to read. There's the front, there's the side, and then there's the back. You've got a picture of Bill there as well, of course. In the inside cover, you've got another picture of him. You see, plenty of pictures on there. There you go. And at the front, you've got a few little comments. And then you've got the book itself. Now, the book, I read the book cover to cover. It's 280 odd pages, page numbers at the back for a small reference index. And then he does explain a little bit with the acknowledgements about how the book was written and the help he's received. Notorious crimes, police inquiries, tense trials, justice. Gripping, says the Times. Well, it is. Here's the front of the book there. You can see I've thumbed my way through it a bit. And then there's a dedication, which I'd like you to see. I always like the dedications to be considered. And then after that, you've got the contents. Now, the way this book is structured is you've got his cases and what he's been involved in, interspersed with his basic life, the way that he started and the way he's gone through life from the beginnings up to where he is today. 14 cases in total, and then you've got an afterword at the end. Then you've got an introduction. How can you defend a man like that? Well, we've always had that comment. I get it quite regularly. And the answer's there. I don't think you need to be told what the answer is, because if you're a barrister, you know what the answer is. Now, we've got very interesting cases all the way through, some of which are well known. There were some really, that one was particularly interesting. Convicted, case number 7, convicted by earprints. So you've got the different chapters and you've got the cases. So as I say, interspersed between the actual cases he's done are his basic history as it develops. So let me explain, because I love this book and I thought it was really important, because whatever you do in law, it's always nice to know what your colleagues are thinking. And of course, I've always taken the line, know your judge, but also know who your opponent is, so that you know what little things they like and what little things you want to avoid. But let me explain, because I have actually met Bill Clegg. He won't remember me at all, but I'm very, very pleased that this book has come out at the time it has done. My wife and I have reviewed a lot of legal memoirs, and this is one of the really good ones. And of course, I will say he has had help, and very, very good help, which he actually acknowledges. And I'll just mention the name, because someone actually helped him with the writing, John Troop, or Troopy. Now, I do mention that because this is Bill's work, but he's had help, and can I just say, it does make it very, very readable. And this is a book. I started it, and I didn't put it down until I finished it. And there aren't that many books so that I will actually just read all the way through. But I did with this one. It's not difficult to read either. Let me say what I thought about it. It's always a great privilege to review a contemporary legal memoir, especially in the dramatic area of criminal law. So Under the Wig from Bill Clegg is no exception. It's available, of course, as a paperback as well. His collection of reminiscences, interspersed with his personal biography, should be read by all aspiring barristers seeking to practice at the criminal bar today. And I'm sure that's right, because he makes some very valuable observations about what's happened. And I, like everybody else, I'm reviews editor of the Barrister magazine. I attend an awful lot of conferences. I hear an awful lot about what's going on, and I see what's happening in the courts. There's not much I can do about it, but I do understand, and I think that's part of the position we're all in as counsel. We've got to understand what is happening and act in the best way we can. Not that I like some of the things that have happened. As I say, obviously the criminal by itself is in a very difficult position. I'm recording this at the beginning of 2019, and there are big issues to face this year. And I think it will be, therefore, this book will be of considerable interest to applied criminologists as well, and to general readers with an interest in some of the biggest trials of recent years, because that's what he's been involved in one way or another. And of course, balance is what you get with Clegg's approach and his special legal professionalism as one of the foremost criminal silks. And you get the answers to the usual questions advocates are asked. How can you speak for someone accused of a savage murder? How do you sway a jury or get a judge to drop a case? These, of course, and many other questions, simple questions, are brilliantly answered in Under the Wig, revealing knowledge many did not know before, and that's the blurb. But he's right, whoever wrote that, and probably it was Mr. Clegg, I don't know, or someone else. The point is that's what you're getting, and of course these questions are questions I get, and that is why we're in a profession. You don't actually make decisions about what you think of clients, you get on with it. It's the same in the army, it's the same in a lot of areas where if you start questioning, oh, I'm not going to represent him, I'm not going to look after him because he smokes or whatever it is. Wrong. It's not the way to do it at all. That's not what we do. And I think, again, that's where the answers have to come in. And I'm just giving a little bit of help there. So for the uninitiated, the publishers invite the reader to meet London's top murder case lawyer as he meets clients in prisons, confronts witnesses in packed courts, and frees innocent people jailed for decades, which is basically what the book's about. All the controversial stuff too. I mean, we do a lot of boring stuff, but he's done a lot of the controversial stuff brilliantly too, I may hasten to add. Well, it's a bit more than that, of course, this book too, because it's about him. We like the many tips throughout the book, which any law student needing advocacy assistance, I think, will find invaluable. Because advocacy, you can learn a certain amount, but you've either got it or you haven't. But the one thing is, it's about sense, and it's about understanding people, and that's what he's saying throughout. And we're not going to, of course, give you spoilers as to what is in the book, because we suggest you read it yourself and see what we mean by the comments made, because what you're getting from this book is a lot of sound advice. The word sound being prevalent for some time, both in public life in various areas, but this is a sound book. It's rightly described as a vivid memoir because Bill revisits his most intriguing and notorious trials, giving us new insight into what happened. And of course we remember the lurid headlines. The matters range from the acquittal of Colin Stagg to the murder of Jill Dando, which was a terrible event, and of course from Britain's first Nazi war criminal to the man given life because of an ear print. Yes, an ear print. Chapter 7, well worth looking at. Case number 7 rather, which I think the Expert Witness Institute might find of interest, as we don't seem to have an ear print expert here at the present time. He had to go abroad. Now, between the factual reminiscences set out, Bill's approach lays bare the secrets of his profession. Well, I suppose he does to a certain extent, but certainly he takes some of the mystique away, and we've had that quite a lot recently, and I'm sure people are not quite as in awe of guys like me wearing the funny gear here and the wig and the gown and everything else, because obviously it's important for anyone contemplating a legal career to understand what we really do, not what you think we do, but actually seeing it when you do pupillage and so forth. We've all probably been there, covering rivalry amongst barristers to the nervous moments before a verdict, and how our right to a fair trial is now in peril. So for instance, the publishers suggest switch off the TV dramas and plunge yourselves into criminal law in action by reading the book. Now that's another little quote which I think is valid, because that's exactly what you're getting here. It's a picture, if you like, if I can put it that way. Clegg talks, of course, of renowned matters with a particular advocate's candour, and that includes the murder of Rachel Nickel, dreadful on Wimbledon Common, the Chillington murders of Dr. Lynn Russell and Megan Russell, and Private Lee Clegg, no relation, as the press regularly pointed out in Belfast, Jill Dando, the first Nazi war crimes prosecution, Joanna Yates, again a dreadful case in Bristol, and the Rebecca Brooks phone hacking trial. And I found that particularly interesting. It's a civil matter in the sense of it's nothing like the other cases he's done. Obviously there were civil implications to this as well as the criminal trial, and of course he was representing a very different type of person from the main players, because he was representing Mr. Hanna, the security guy. I don't want to say any more, because read the book, otherwise I'll spoil it for you. Therefore, let me conclude by saying this, that the possibility of damage to the rule of law with the right to a fair trial being put at risk is the abiding memory, hence my title for this review. We actually have that comment with us at the end of the book, because what he says is, what I like doing more than anything else is to read a new case. Well, that's what I think most of us like doing, because it's that special thrill you get, which I think he mentions. Certainly the adrenaline runs a bit when you get the brief in and you open it up and you have a look at it. He said, that moment when I'm about to turn the first page still thrills. And it certainly does. I know exactly what he means, and I'm sure practitioners do, because you're opening up a brand new case. It's like a very interesting new book to read, actually. That's the same thing. It's the same for me. And I don't specialise, of course, in crime anymore, because I do the civil stuff. But I did like Under the Wig. I thought it was a great book. It's one of the best memoirs that I've read in recent years. So a very big thank you to Bill. Very grateful to have it. The book was published on the 3rd of October 2018. And as I said, it's available as an e-book and an audio book. And I believe it's coming out as a paperback. There it is again. Front, spine and back. You've got a little divider. Inside he makes some very important comments, and can I just say, just going through it, when you look at you've obviously got the cases. There's the earprint case there. You've then got the comments that he has, not just about the actual cases, but some of the issues that the bar faces at the moment. And for instance, legal aid is one that he does talk about, trying times for legal aid. Can I just say, I mean, I'm political and he's not. He's never made a political point anywhere in this book, which I'm grateful for, because most of us do. But what he's saying is what an awful lot of us feel, and I'm grateful he's had the courage to do it. So a big thank you, very much indeed. I really enjoyed this book. Get it and have a good read yourself. Bye-bye for now.